What's up, everybody? It's D-Jax from Alpha Cybersecurity, and today we are doing day 16 of TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber Challenge. Today looks like we're going to be doing some OSINT stuff. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fun challenge. But before we get started, please remember to like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications. This way you'll be notified whenever I go live, do any uploads, or I do InfoSec Unplugged, which airs every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And with that being said, let's get right into the story. So it says here, Grinch Enterprises has decided to use the Best Festival Company to try their new ransomware service. While they think that this is a great proving ground, McSkitty is adamant to determine their goals and share them with the wider security community. Can you use your open source intelligent methods to find out more information about their ransomware gang? And the learning objectives will be understanding what OSINT is and where it originates, understanding the implications of OSINT and how it can be used for reconnaissance and information gathering, and we're also going to learn how to conduct an OSINT investigation to gather information on an individual. So first, what is OSINT? It says OSINT in the digital footprint. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence, information that can be obtained from free and public sources. Offensive teams commonly use OSINT to perform reconnaissance on a target, an individual, or a corporation. Agencies and law enforcement can also leverage OSINT to gather information. OSINT may seem scary at first, and then it goes into where you find the information, will you get in trouble, but it says no need to worry. OSINT operations are straightforward using tools that you're already familiar with on the clear net. OSINT is an extensive term, and it is an overarching term of many different intelligence disciplines. However, in this task, we'll be covering the topic as it's commonly known. Information is at the core of OSINT. Information is typically found in two places, and then it goes into ClearNet and the darknet. So ClearNet is your anything you can find in publicly accessible places like social media, so your Facebook, your Twitter, GitHub, pictures on Instagram, Snapchat, believe it or not, even TikTok. This is all publicly accessible information, therefore you're not technically doing anything illegal. Then you have the darknet, is where you have to use special tools or special software, any type of different configuration to gain access to certain information. Now the darknet is a little bit more shadier, and I would not recommend you going on the darknet for information unless you are a professional and know what you're doing. The darknet is no place for your casual browser. So it says here, darknet is accessed using special software, requires additional configuration, most commonly used by privacy-minded individuals, whistleblowers, censored people, criminals, journalists, and government law enforcement agencies. And then it goes into the different tools. So you have your Tor browser, Freenet, I2P, IPFS, and ZeroNet. Next, it goes into the task on how we can focus leveraging the ClearNet to gather information on a target. And again, this is the ClearNet being social media, anything that's publicly accessible on Google and things of that nature. Information used in OSINT originates from your digital footprint. This may seem like a buzzword, but it is key to why OSINT can be rewarding. When conducting OSINT, we look at what data a target left behind to lead us to the information objective we are seeking. Next, it goes into the OSINT process cycle. When conducting OSINT investigations, each individual and team will have their methodology to approach a task. The approach to OSINT can be quantified through models and systemic steps to follow. And then it goes into two of the information models. So you have the first one, which is the RAS OSINT data information model, and that outlines how to gather information to identify and categorize data. So it kind of goes through this. So you get the data. From that data, you disseminate the information. You split it up between the intelligence and the report. From there, you're able to come up with a decision based on the intelligence and the information you've gotten from the report. And then you determine what you need to do to make changes. The next one is the roller coaster. This one is a little bit, it looks a little complicated, but this one is like an ever evolving process. So it's constantly moving. It's constantly, changing and, getting that information for you. So you have your client at the center of the roller coaster, and then you get your sources. From there, you monitor whatever information you need to get. From that information, you select and find what you need to do that's going to be useful. Then it goes back to the client. This is where you kind of get a lot of the information that you can retrieve. Then here is where you index it. So this is how you're retrieving the information that you got here from acquisition. Then you have your synthesis. So now you're combining all of your information that you've gathered from all the other steps, and then you're disseminating it. So what can you get from all of that? So again, you're gathering your sources, you're monitoring those sources, you're grabbing whatever information you need. You're then coming back to actually get it and retrieve it. Here you're breaking it down, and then from there you're disseminating and figuring out what you can do, what actions you can take, how you can quantify that information. And of course, in the dissemination, this is where you're also coming up with your reporting. So the next account discovery and analysis. Accounts are prevalent and well-known parts of the target's footprint. Accounts can include any public accounts linked to the target or target persona, including but not limited to Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, etc. Then it says, when analyzing the target's account, you're commonly looking for any type of real information. So if they're letting out their real name, real email addresses, anything that's linked to them, like any other social media accounts or any other public accounts, anything that is in their social media history or anything that they left behind in the past, and then any information that you can use in their social media posts. For example, when crimes are committed, a lot of the times law enforcement, the first place they go is social media, because someone put up something or someone said something on social media, or someone has a picture or a video of something, or the crime, even the crime itself on social media, and it's really been a big resource for them. So next we're looking at Google dorking. Google dorking is a feature in Google that allows you to specify whatever syntax you want to use to filter out your search query and make it more granular. So Google also has a defined list that you can use. Here's an example of some of them, but there are a bunch that you can use to help you break down your Google searches and help you find exactly what you're looking for without having to go through like tons of pages on Google. Then it goes into OSINT and the blockchain. So it says here that we can apply the same methodology as previously discussed with blockchain. Although identifiers may be anonymous, that does not make them less unique or impossible to link personas. When faced with blockchain technology, our end goal is to get back to a traditional persona. This process may change as the web changes, but will stay the same for now with current technology. Objectives and methodologies will change as decentralization and blockchain technology change and adapt, and then examples of this can already be seen with most of the cryptocurrency while it's rotating addresses and ensuring proper security measures. Then here it says going deeper with OSINT. So it pretty much explains using different tricks or tools to look for certain things you can that in other places. For example, they're looking at GitHub in the example to show how individuals might not be securing private information. And then down here, it just talks about compiling the investigation. So it says the most daunting part of an OSINT investigation can be starting to put all the pieces together. There's no need to worry. You will almost always be given a starting point or some form of reference which just to begin with. When trying to put the pieces together, it's important to remember that not everything may have a link, and that there may be multiple pieces that go to one another that don't focus on one thing too much and focus on creating a more general persona and understanding of what you're targeting. All right, so now we're going to get into the questions. It says you're responding to an intelligence officer on the hunt for more information about the infamous Grinch Enterprises ransomware gang. And it says, as a response to recent ransomware activity from Grinch Enterprises, your team has managed to collect a sample of the ransomware note. And then this is the note right here. Looks like it's in Russian. So we just need to go ahead and copy this. And then what we'll do is we'll bring up Google Translate. So I'll just move that over here real quick and we'll just enter it here. And it says, important, your files were encrypted by the Grinch. We use the most advanced encryption technology. Contact your Grinch Enterprises operator to access your files. Your personal ID is, and it gives this ID string here. Then it says the operator assigned to your case can be contacted as GrinchWho31 on all platforms. And then the message closes. So we'll just move this back over here. So make sure you copy and paste that information onto like a notepad because you'll be using that information to kind of help you. So first it says, what is the operator's name? So the operator's name was GrinchWho31. Right, okay. So now that we have the operator's name, which is GrinchWho31, the next question says, which social media platform is the username associated with? So we'll bring up Twitter here, and we'll just do twitter.com/GrinchWho31. And if you look here, it says neighborhood Grinch. Send me all your ransom. And if you look, they have a pinned tweet that says, verifying myself, I am GrinchWho31 on keybase.io. And then if you open up that link there, it'll bring you to their Keybase page. Now remember, make sure you are putting all your information into a notepad. When this is all done, I'll show you my notepad, but yeah, make sure you're keeping notes of all of this. So we have the GrinchWho31 from the ransom note. Then that brought us to Twitter, and now we're moving to their Keybase page. So you click their Keybase link, and you see here that they have one device, which is a Windows computer, their Twitter, which was GrinchWho31, and they have a GitHub account called ChristmasHater31. So let's click that, and it looks like their GitHub wallet is right here as well. So let's go ahead and check their GitHub account, and they have two repositories called Christmas Bash Tree and Christmas Stealer. So let's just take a quick look. So this looks like the ransomware, and then this looks like the same, yep, that's the same Bitcoin address as their Keybase account, so we know that we're on the right track. Look through here, and I know people are looking at it like, oh, it's code. Don't get too discouraged, because you can still find certain information in source code. You don't have to be like a super software developer or programmer. You just got to know how to, read lines and look for certain information. So we're gonna go back. We see that this was the Bitcoin address, so that's confirming what we saw earlier. And then let's look at the Christmas Bash Tree. If we look through here, doesn't look like there's too much going on in here. So the next thing you want to do is you can look at the commits, or look at any changes that were made. And if you look here, it says one change file with 0 additions and 2 deletions. So on this day, they added this information, but they deleted their information, and it looks like it was created by Dante Heath, and the contact information was danteheath21@gmail.com. So again, we're going to copy that and put that information here. And now let's just go back and check Christmas Stealer and see if there was any information in the commits there. And that doesn't look like it. It looks like they put all this information in at once. So let's see what information we have so far. So let's move this over. And we have the important, your files were encrypted by Grinch. Okay, so this was the note. This was the personal ID. Then here's their Twitter information. Neighborhood Grinch was their name. It says send me all your ransom in leet speak. Then here was the keybase information, the keybase signature. Also the keybase signature. Here was their Bitcoin information. And then here was the name and the contact information that we have. So now that we have all this information here, let's go back to our questions so we can close this stuff out and we go back to our questions. So the first question was, what was the operator's name? It was Grinch Who 31. The next question says, what social media platform is the username associated with? That was Twitter. Then it says, what is the cryptographic identifier associated with the operator? So the cryptographic identifier, I believe, was their keybase signature. And then it says, what platform is the cryptographic identifier associated with? That was keybase.io. Then it says, what is the Bitcoin address of the user? That was the Bitcoin address that we had earlier. And then it says, what platform does the operator leak the Bitcoin address on? And that was, we actually found it in a couple places, but it looks like we found it on GitHub as well. Then it says, what is the operator's email address? That was danteheath21@gmail.com. And then finally, what is the operator's real name? And that was Dante Heath. And then we looked at the history of the changes that were made in GitHub to see that the operator's name was Dante Heath and that their email address was danteheath21@gmail.com. So we answered all the questions today, and that was day 16. So just to recap, we learned about what the open source intelligence is. We learned about how to gather information. We learned about the difference between ClearNet and DarkNet. ClearNet being publicly accessible information, DarkNet being any information that you have to kind of go through different tools and techniques or using any type of seedy tactics to get that information. Again, highly recommend that if you're not well versed in doing the DarkNet or qualified to be on the darknet, don't go to the darknet. We then looked at the two different process cycles, where one was just kind of getting the information and coming up with the determination, and then we also went through the OSINT roller coaster, which was a continuous cycle. We learned about some examples of Google dorking, which is different syntaxes you can use to help make your Google searches more granular. We then talked about Web 3.0 and the blockchain briefly, and then we looked at some other techniques on how to look at different resources to find more information, like looking at GitHub changes. Then when we got into the challenge, we got a ransomware note. We found the operator's username from the ransomware note to be Grinch Who 31. We saw that their social media platform that they were using was Twitter, but they were also linked to a Keybase account. So we were able to go to their Keybase account, and from there we got their cryptographic signature there, and then we also got their Bitcoin address. But we also got a link from there to their Christmas Stealer account on GitHub. We went to their GitHub account. They had 2 repos. When we looked at the code for those 2 repos, we were able to confirm that the Bitcoin address matched the Bitcoin address we found from Keybase. And then we also looked at the commit changes, and we saw that the user tried to delete their email address and their real name, which was Dante Heath, and their email being danteheath21@gmail. And that was pretty much all the information that we needed. So that was day 16, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like the video and comment in the section below. Also, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos or I do other live streams similar to this, or when I go live with InfoSec Unplugged, which I do every Thursday at 6 p.m. Also, please be sure to check out all the previous videos from the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber and tell me what you think. Again, this has been DJax. You guys enjoy your day, and I will talk to you later. Take care.